Awesome. It's live now.
So it is prompting that we are live. We welcome all the guests, audience from all over the globe. Uh, we will just wait for a couple of minutes so that everyone joins, and then we will start the process.
Yes.
So kindly bear with us for next couple of minutes. We will just wait.
So we'll start now. So we are live on Facebook. Namaskar and thank you all for joining today. GKPD is very proud, honored and privileged to kickstart the Kashmir Files movie pre-release and also to start mark the beginning of the US-wide promo tour of the Kashmir Files. Now, Kashmir Files is not just a movie, it is our movie. It is a movie by the community, of the community, and it is for the whole world to see. Now, the reason why I say that the movie is of our community is because Vivek Agnihotri ji and Palvi Joshi ji, they are part of Kashmiri Pandit family now. They have been with us since 2018 when the movie was first conceived. And they traveled through 3 continents researching the movie, interviewing hundreds of first-hand victims of genocide, their families, their kith and kin. And we will see a short trailer of their interviews as well today. And we owe them a mountain of gratitude. But let's start with that. So welcome to all the participants. We have our very own community stalwarts today who are with us today and who will start this webinar. But before that, I would like to hand over the mic to Dr. Surinder Kaul from Houston, USA. Dr. Surinder Kaul needs no introduction. He is a community activist 24/7. And he is the engine behind the Kashmir Files movie. I have to say that, Dr. Saab, and over to you.
Okay, Namaskar. I am not the engine. The community is the engine of this whole project. Welcome to you all. Namaskar. Uh, well, today is a very emotional moment. It's a historic moment in our history of our community that we will be discussing about the promo of the Kashmir Files. Now, after 3 years of labor and very hard labor, intense labor, that the idea that was conceived has come to fruition. And this is the occasion when all our community stalwarts who have dedicated decades and decades of service towards the community, selfless service towards the community, and accomplished people who are with us. We have lost many jewels of the community who have served the community in a very passionate and selfless way. And we recently lost our mentor, our guide, Dr. K.L. Chaudhary Sahab. And beyond, we have hundreds and hundreds of selfless community today. It is an occasion to remember all of them, right from Vaishnavi ji, Amarnath Vaishnavi ji, to M.K. Kao Sahab, and all those M.K. Teng Sahab who have selflessly dedicated their time, energy, and sacrificed their family time towards the cause of the community. So today it's a proud privilege for Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora to welcome our eminent speakers in this panel. And today it gives me happiness and satisfaction to introduce those stalwarts, starting from Sandeep Bamzeji. He doesn't need any introduction. He's a media tycoon, and he's currently CEO and the chief editor of IANS, a leading news agency which has been covering all sorts of news nationally and internationally. Besides that, Sandeep ji is a very prolific writer. He has authored some books. Then we have our eminent stalwarts like Guddu Sahab. Guddu Sahab doesn't need any introduction. He has served the community at the time when we became refugees in our own country. And at that time, he was heading the position of the president of Kashmiri Samiti Delhi, the nodal agency of the of the community organization in Delhi. And the passionately he served, how he got involved is an example for all of us and inspiration for all of us. Similarly, Dr. Professor Kashinath Panditaji, Padam Shri, doesn't need any introduction. At this age, he has been relentlessly, year after year, without any break, raising the awareness of our genocide and ethnic cleansing at international fora like United Nations. Uh, and this is a inspiration for not for a community, for all Indians to see the involvement, the level of commitment and dedication towards the country, towards the community. Similarly, we have our own eminent Professor Dr. Sudhir Sopori Sahab. He is an eminent scientist of international repute. He has served as a Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University and is currently leading the community efforts, being the president of Faridabad Association in India. Similarly, Moti Kolji doesn't need any introduction. He has served decades of years towards the service of the community and has served the community passionately. And he is an entrepreneur and has been looking into the affairs of the community all across India and abroad. Similarly, we have Utpal Kolji with us. He's the international coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora. Nirja Kol Sadhuji, who is also the international coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora, along with Virender Kolji, who is again the international coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora. Shafalika ji is there. She also doesn't need any introduction. She is the UK coordinator of Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora. In addition to this, we have several speakers as president of Kashmiri Pandit Association Mumbai, Krishan Kimoji, and Sanjay Ganjuji, who has been past president of Jammu Kashmir Vichar Manch. So on this note, I forgot about Vivek ji and Pallavi ji, and I'm sorry to keep your introduction towards the end. Well, both Pallavi ji and Vivek ji doesn't need any introduction. They are the award-winning director, writer, actors. So basically, we are immensely thankful to you as a community, as Global Kashmiri Pandit Diaspora, that an idea that we conceived 3 years ago has come to fruition. And this whole labor and the amount of work, the hard work, the whole involvement that you have done in collecting the testimonials of around 700 interviews and not internationally, not calling them at one place, but rather going to their homes, maintaining the sensitivity and the emotional value, going to their homes, recording all these testimonials within the confines of their home at the cost of their own comforts. This is a huge mega thing. This is not an ordinary movie. This movie is our movie. This movie depicts genocide, ethnic cleansing, but this movie is not about propagation of hate. This movie is not to the binary of religious binaries. This movie is about the human rights. It's the movie about the important piece of the history that has been missing all along. There has been many movies on Kashmir, but that was basically seeing into sort of a romanticizing with terrorism, glorifying terrorism in one way or the other. But this important piece belongs to us. And I could proudly say that this is the moment for the first time in our struggle in exile of 32 years. That's something that depicts what happened with us, the human right abuses. Uh, and this is not the, through our community, this movie is the movie of persecuted communities who have become victims of terrorism, whether it is an Armenian Christian, whether it is an Afghani Muslim, whether it is a Yazidi Muslim, or this is a Kashmiri Pandit. The story is the same. This is the impact of terrorism on human lives. This is the story about how terrorism destroys families, destroys identity, destroys the whole fabric. And this movie is going, I'm proud to say that this is no more the movie of Kashmiri Pandits. The whole Indian diaspora is extending full support and is actively working for disseminating this information, whether it be Telugu associations, Gujarati associations, Sikh associations, Marathi Mandal, Bengali associations, you name it. And not only that, Jewish organizations are extending support. Muslim organizations are extending support. So this is the movie about humanity. This is the movie about humans, the tragedies of the humans. And through them, this is reaching out to the lawmakers in US, because this is a roadshow which is going to start from November the 26th and will be in about 18 cities. This will be going on. It will be also showcased at Capitol Hill with the congressional session we have at Holocaust Museum, at prestigious universities in the US. So at that note, there's a lot of things to share. I would like to request at this time our first speaker, who is also the keynote speaker, Shri Sandeep Bamzei ji. Uh, Floor is yours. Please make us wise. And I know that you were recently in Kashmir. Whatever you want to share, floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Surinderji. I'm very happy to be here. I sincerely believe that this is a cause that needs my full support and, of course, support from every Kashmiri, because it's a human travesty, a human tragedy of epic proportions, and a human travesty that Hindus in their own country, in a country where Hindus are in a majority, are unfortunately migrants and refugees. And this, I think, is a unique example of ethnocentrism and ethnic cleansing, and nobody really has cared about us. I'll first I'll rewind a bit. It was about 4.5 years ago that the vice president, who Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, who was made the vice president, immediately after he was made vice president, it was just a happenstance that I went to meet him at his residence, and we had a chat for about 15-20 minutes, where he asked me whether I was a Kashmiri Pandit. And of course, I told him that, yes, I was born in Srinagar and I'm very much a Kashmiri Pandit. And then he actually, and this was probably the first time somebody from the political class, and that too recently, because this was 2017, a member of the political class that was ruling actually apologized to me. He said that I apologize to you as a Kashmiri Pandit, because it is an extremely unfortunate thing that over so many years, we have been unable to do anything for the Kashmiri Pandit community. He said that I was a member of the previous NDA administration. I appealed to Atalji, I appealed to Advaniji, and I consistently and continuously told them between 1998 and 2004 that we should do something for Kashmiri Pandits. And this, I think, was the first time ever that a member of the political class had actually acknowledged. There are people who do it privately. Of course, this too was a private meeting between him and I. But to acknowledge it and to apologize, I thought was a seminal happening. Of course, nothing has happened really in these last 5 years, other than the fact that Article 370 has been revoked. Article 35A has been revoked, which, of course, enlarges the scope of integration between Kashmir and India, as it were. Now I come to the present, because I was in Kashmir when these events of ethnic cleansing were actually taking place again. These killings of the Bihari Golgappawala, Mr. Handu, and Sukhmani Kaur, the teacher who was running the orphanage. All these were happening while I was in Kashmir last month. The remarkable part is that I went after almost a decade. The last time I'd gone was in 2012. The remarkable part is that it was business as usual. Nothing really had changed. I mean, I had conversations with a whole lot of people on the streets, wherever I went. I went to Gulmarg, I went to Anantnag, I went to Pahalgam, I went to Sopor. I had conversations with a whole lot of people. There was repentance, which I found probably the first time that the Muslim community was repenting what they had done to the Hindus 30 years ago. Now, whether this repentance was genuine or whether it was a for repentance, but the impression that I got was that there was repentance of some sort, because they believe, and this is a takeaway from all the conversations that I had, which is that ever since they have chased us out, stampeded us, banished us from the valley, their problems have never ceased. This is the sense that I got. This is from the conversations and the takeaways from the conversation, that we should repent for our sins, for chasing all of you out of the valley and chasing you away from your home and hearth. And I thought this was an important differentiator this time from my visits earlier. On ground, there are two Kashmirs. There is one which takes you right from Shankaracharya to the boulevard and beyond, and one which is you take a left and go towards Lal Chowk, Residency Road, Gupkar Road. These are two different Kashmirs. Tourism is not attacked. Tourism is not being touched. All the hotels were full. I stayed at the Lalit, which is very expensive. Despite that, it had 100% occupancy on all the days that we were there. It's frightfully expensive. The whole of Delhi seemed to have landed there. In other hotels I checked, there was 100% occupancy. No tourist has been touched in these last 2 months, ever since the spiral of violence has begun. When I returned, I had conversations with intelligence people on what is happening in Kashmir. Why has this upsurge in violence, this spiral in violence, this selective targeting, which is exactly what happened in 89-90, December 8. Actually, we're closing in on that day, December 8, when the abduction of Rubaiya Said took place. The Muslim Home Minister of India at that time, Mufti Muhammad Said, broke down. The government of India kneeled. The JKLF won. And then, of course, you know what happened. Several of you would have been touched directly. Several others would have been touched indirectly. I was not living in Kashmir at the time, but my whole family was living in Kashmir, and they were part of the stampede. They migrated to different parts of India. December 8 and January 18, 1990. 89, December 8 and 1990, January 18. In these 30, 40 days, the entire complexion, character, color of Kashmir changed forever. And it was a calibrated plan. It was done with a systematic vengeance. And when the world talks about Palestine and the world talks about XYZ location and how there are human rights violations, nobody talks about us. Nobody remembers us. Nobody remembers us in our own country. Forget the world. And this, I think, is the biggest travesty that has taken place. This, I think, is one of the saddest things that have taken place. I have been a journalist now for 40 years. I have seen people, Surinderji mentioned several people. All these people have been selfless and they've served the community. But I don't think it matters. It does not cut ice with the political class. Whether it is the UPA or the NDA, I gave you the example of the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu and his conversation with me. Nobody really cares in our own country. I'm very glad to note that you're taking this as a road show. You're going to 18 different cities in the United States. I heard Surinderji say that you will go to Capitol Hill, to the congressional committees. I'm very happy to note that. But I wish that we could mobilize support for our own community with the political class in our own country. And I wanted to highlight or throw into stark relief this new spiral of violence and how it is taking place. And I mentioned, I deviated a bit. I mentioned how I spoke to intelligence officials on my return. It is scary. Now, these boys are 18, 19, 20. They're sitting at home. They are not using mobile communication anymore because the agencies are tracking mobile communications. So there is no mobile communication used in any of this. The boys are sitting at home, comfortably watching television. Some other boy comes to the house, hands over a chit. The boy gets up, tells his parents that he's going out. He actually takes a bus and goes to Jammu. He's told on that chit that he has to stand at a particular bus stop in Jammu, mind you, not in the valley. So he goes there, he stands at the bus stop. It is the old Mumbai Supari system which is being used in Kashmir now. The boy stands at the bus stop. Another boy comes on a scooter or a bike, picks him up and takes him to an unidentified location, hands him a gun, which is essentially a revolver, and gives him a picture of the person who he's supposed to kill. It is the classic old Mumbai Supari system which is in operation in Kashmir. In the old days in Bombay, when D Company, etc., were running riot in the city, these people would come from Uttar Pradesh. They would be handed a gun, a photograph wrapped in a newspaper, and the location would be given to them. They would go to that location and kill that person. Exactly the same modus operandi is being used by these boys. They are calling themselves TRF, the Resistance Front, and these boys are killing all non-Kashmiris to create the same fear psychosis that took place between December 8th and January 18, 89-90. And it is a very, very, very scary sort of situation. But on ground in Kashmir, it is not visible at all. I went to Anantnag. I was shocked. There are shops which are probably posher than shops in Bombay or shops in Delhi. The main street of Anantnag is doing great business. People are shopping as if there is no tomorrow. It is the same on Residency Road. But the moment something happens, there is an element of fear. But that fear is felt more by the non-Kashmiris and not the tourists, the non-Kashmiris who are residents or who are trying to make a living, like this Bihari Golgappa wala. He came all the way because he found that he could do business in Kashmir, and he was doing business in Kashmir. It is a very, very strange sort of situation because tourism is thriving on one side. The shikaras are full. I had conversations with various shikara walas, with various houseboat owners, with hospitality majors. There is a hotel that is opened in Pahalgam, which used to be Pine and Peak. Some of you may have visited that hotel in the past. That hotel has been refurbished, renovated by ITC. It is absolutely swank, the hotel. It had 100% occupancy the day we went there. In Gulmarg, of course, you must have heard of the Khyber, which again charges the earth, but it is house full. In Srinagar proper, all hotels house full. There were Bengali tourists, there were Gujarati tourists, there were Maharashtrians, there were obviously people from Delhi, there were people of all hues in Srinagar. So somewhere there is this two city within one sort of concept, because they themselves seem to have realized that if they have to continue to look for a livelihood, then tourism is the best opportunity. And tourism is allowed to continue without any interruption. And in the other part of the city, in the same city, which is Srinagar, which is left of Shankaracharya, which is Lal Chowk, Residency Road, etc., and then of course across the bridges, that fear psychosis has set in. But As far as shoppers were concerned, as far as buyers were concerned, whether it was the vegetable market, whether it was, Residency Road proper, whether it was the flower market and the vegetable market at 6 a.m. on Dal Lake, people all buying as if nothing has happened. And yet, old and young were telling me that we are repenting what we did. Now, deep down, whether it is Nare Takbir and Nizam Mustafa, I can't say. But at least on my face, they told me that we repent what we did to you. I actually went to we used to have three houses. I went to one of them, and the driver, etc., was so upset, or at least they showed or feigned that they were upset. They said that, is this your house? The one that my grandfather's house in Exchange Road. And they said, is this your house? There's nobody there. It's locked. So they said, is this your house? I said, yeah, that's why I'm here, just to see what the condition is, what the state is. And they said that we cannot believe that you have such a good house and you're not living here. I said, but will you allow me to come back and stay here? So there's no answer to that. So the world wails about Palestine. Nobody in this country cares about Kashmir. Forget the world. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I'm glad that you're using this opportunity with this film to transpose the hurt of Kashmiri Pandits, the sheer humanitarian tragedy of Kashmiri Pandits. You're transposing this image, this story, and you're taking it to the United States. I just hope that people listen, and I hope people realize and understand and comprehend the nuance that is associated with this great tragedy, which is not just a human tragedy, but a travesty of epic proportions, like I said at the outset. I just hope that the political class in the United States, and maybe through the United States and congressional hearings and Capitol Hill, the same communication comes back to India, because it is essential that we highlight this cause. 30 years means a generation has passed. 30 years means that people who were in their 20s are now on the verge of becoming senior citizens. I myself was in my 20s when this great tragedy happened. Of course, as I said, I was not living in Kashmir, but living in Bombay at the time. But I think communication of this imagery, of this story, has to be told at different levels by different people from our community, both in the West and in India, in Europe, of course, in the European Union. And I think this business of Hindu refugees, in migrants in their own country, is a story of a magnitude which nobody can comprehend. The fact that 30 years later camps like Jagati still exist, the fact that these people are still living in these camps 30 years later, the fact that there are people who have not been able, of course, our community, with God's grace, touchwood, is very resilient. It has shown that it has moved on because it had no choice, it had no alternative. So if the government of the day says that we can take you back to Kashmir, nobody, I think, will be willing to live in a ghetto unless there is complete freedom. And I don't think that freedom is there, because as long as this entire culture in Kashmir is weaponized, you as an individual or as a family cannot take a chance to go back and live in a ghetto. Unless you're given back your homes, your hearths, the ones that you had to flee from, because your daughters were told that you will have to marry Muslim men under the threat of the gun. I don't think anybody will be willing to go back to Srinagar, that there will be a pocket which will be created on this side of the Jhelum or that side of the Jhelum. I think this is all meaningless. No Kashmiri will be willing to go back. And I think this government or any other government has to do something which materially alters the course of the future generations of Kashmiri Pandits. Otherwise, here is a culture which is dying before our own eyes, and it gives me language, for instance. I did not marry a Kashmiri, I married a non-Kashmiri. My children do not speak the language. So will this language die with me? I would think so. It gives me great pain when my father passed away many years ago, but when my mother goes, that tradition, the culture, the everything that is associated with the Kashmiri Pandit community, as we have known it, as we have grown with it, will all go. And this is my greatest fear, that as long as our parents are there, as long as we are there, there is an element of Kashmiriyat or being a Kashmiri. It exists within us. But when we go, what happens with the next generation? They'll be Kashmiris in name. They won't speak the language. I'll give you an example. Wherever I went in Kashmir, I saw lots of young people who go to school, forget college, even go to school. But I did not hear anybody speak in Kashmiri. And I asked around. They said television has changed everything. Nobody speaks Kashmiri. The kids in Kashmir don't speak Kashmiri. These are Muslims I'm talking about. They are speaking Hindi or an amalgam of Hindi and Urdu. So the language will go. How long will Vazwan last? I mean, these are simple questions. Our own cuisine, for instance. The Kashmiri Pandit cuisine, as you know, is completely different from Kashmiri Muslim cuisine or Vazwan cuisine as we know it. That cuisine will die. And it's a unique cuisine. It is monotypical of Kashmiri Pandits, and that cuisine you will not find it anywhere. When all these things go, then what will happen to the Kashmiri? And this, as I've been saying again and again during the course of what I've said, this is my greatest fear. I think it is imperative and it is incumbent on all of us as Kashmiri Pandits who are in positions of some sort of preeminence to ensure that this message of Kashmiri Pandits in particular, being given their place, rightful place. It is imperative and incumbent on all of us to ensure that the government of the day listens to us. And I support this cause that the Greater Kashmir diaspora is ushering in, and whatever help can be provided to the cause through my platform, you're most welcome to use. But I think the leaders of the community should make it a point to push the cause harder with the political class, with civil society, because I don't think it cuts ice with either the civil society or with the political class. The civil society may be concerned about Maoists. As we speak, 26 Maoists have been killed in Gardacholi. There's a massive attack. 4 Jawans have been killed, and the toll may rise. It's a huge event here in India. 26 Maoists have been killed by security forces, rightly so. Civil society may well be more concerned about Maoists, but they won't be concerned about us. And this is what hurts me. I can go on, but I think I will rest my case with all that I've said. I hope that I've covered a lot of ground during my conversation with all of you.
Thank you, Sandeep ji, for your very crisp analysis of the situation. Well, you being a media tycoon, I know that all the sections of the government and opposition are listening to you. I know that it is really a travesty because Kashmir has been the victim of wrong policies over the last 70 years. But we see that as hope that some right messages have started taking place, and the way this was being dealt was sort of a hunky dory. But I think that some writ of the government is there. No doubt it's challenging, but I think a step in the right direction is being taken. I know, Vivek ji, you will be the next.
Surinder ji, if I could just add 2 more lines, I just want to highlight 2 more things. Quickly, I'll just finish quickly. What I saw this time was development. which I've not seen ever in Kashmir. There is a 6-lane expressway that has been built from right down from Banimahal directly to Srinagar. There are flyovers that have been built in Srinagar. The people are actually happy with Manoj Sinha's administration. They believe that he is probably the first person in a long, long time who is actually working towards development. The fact that Sultan bin Suleiman, the chairman of DP, Dubai DP, and earlier he was chairman of JAFZA, Jebel Ali Free Zone, he actually visited Kashmir soon after I went. This is as recent as early November. The fact that investment is coming into Kashmir from Dubai, the flight from Sharjah has started directly to Srinagar. These are extremely good things which people are reacting to. You know, the first time after these killings, people came out and did the usual candle march, but these were Muslims who came out and did the candle march. I think there is somewhere this deep sense that, you know, we are suffering too. We've chased you out, but it's not gone down very well, and we are suffering too. People are dying. You know, the funeral of that police SPO, it was, people came out in droves and thousands. So said, I think there is a change in the psyche of the Kashmiri Muslim, because he too is suffering because of what he has done, and maybe that's why he's repenting. But the development work that is being undertaken by the present administration under Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha is actually very, very important, because these development images are not merely pictures. You can see it on the ground. You have to see the expressway that has been built from Banihal to Srinagar. It's just like any other expressway in India. The flyovers that have been built. So there is actual development work which is taking place, and I think people on the ground may well be responding to this, because at the end of the day, the Abdullahs and the Muftis and the Mehbubas, the people are upset with them. People are furious with them, because all they did was line their pockets. So now they see this change on the ground under this new lieutenant governor. And I think somewhere the political class in Delhi under the prime minister is actually pushing this agenda of development. And I think that is a very important thing. I did not mention all this at the outset because I dealt with the Kashmiri Pandit and his problems. But I think I should add this aspect as well, that the people on the ground are responding very well to Manoj Sinha's development agenda. And I think they also realize that the money that has been coming all this while, I mean, let's understand this valley has been subsidized by the government of India for 75 years. But now they see that this money is actually going into some sort of project development, which never happened because it all went into lining pockets of various politicians. So this, I think, is a very important change. That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Vivek ji, you be ready. But before, I know everybody is waiting to listen to Vivek ji and of course other panelists. But at this time, Vivek ji will navigate this whole process, whatever he needs to share about the movie, about the road show, and also we have some material of the movie that will be released for the first time in this event. So please have patience. But before he comes in, I would like to immensely thank our brethren, our Indians of all diverse ethnicities like Telugu Samaj, Punjabi Samaj, Sikh Samaj, who have extended not only the whole support, but are actively working. Like, for example, the New York roadshow is being coordinated by Mukesh Modi ji. The New Jersey roadshow is being coordinated by Ganesh ji. The Washington DC roadshow is being organized by Utsav Chakrabarti ji and Krishna ji and Mohan Sapru ji. Of course, our community is definitely there, but they are taking the lead in taking this whole huge step. Like, I give an example. There's a physician, Dr. Sankar. He is in Raleigh. He said, "No, I'll take care of everything." So cutting across all religious lines, ethnical lines, language lines, everybody coming together overwhelmingly. And we again reiterate our immense thank for all of them for taking this cause, and so that this whole mission meets its objectives for which it has been met. On this note, Vivek ji, floor is yours.
I think Pallavi has to go or she's gone. Okay. So you want her to just say hello to everybody and leave?
Absolutely, yes, yes. Pallavi ji, sorry for keeping you waiting. I know you have a very important social commitment, but if you can say hi and whatever you need to share, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm on my way to a wedding. If had it been any other function, I would have just said we'll meet, next year. But we all hope that wedding is a once in a lifetime occasion for everyone. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's organizing all the screenings and the events in US. I know it's a huge job. Coordination is the most difficult job in the world. But I want to thank Dr. Surinder Kaul from the bottom of my heart, because he has, emerged as such a strong leader in this whole roadshow planning. And he's the one who's taking everyone along, you know, directing them, uh, getting everyone, prepping everyone, and then making everyone uh, do their best. Even me and Vivek, there are times when, because we have a film to finish now, and it's in the last stages where the VFX is on, the DI is on, the mixing is on. And in between all that, one tends to get a little tired, but the minute Surinderji calls, then we suddenly get a, a new Josh for life, and we suddenly start working with more vigor. So thanks to you, Surinderji, and thanks to everyone who's putting in their best. This film is a very small effort on our part, uh, towards doing something for the community, which unfortunately we didn't know anything about until before 2015. And when we got to know the details, when we had come there for our research, it was, I was rather shocked that all these facts were, I don't know whether they were hidden from us or we as Indians never bothered to find about them. Uh, but having said so, we decided that, we cannot just keep playing the blame game. It's on us, and we need to do something proactively. And hence, we decided to make a movie and put in as many stories as possible within the 2.5 hours that the film time, gives us, permits us to do. There could have been so much more that we could have added to the film, but we could only do so much. And I hope that the message reaches people across the globe. People understand what truly happened with the Kashmiri Pandits. Being driven out of your homes, facing ethnic cleansing, facing a genocide. When you just talk about it doesn't really give you the gravity of the situation. But when you see it on an audio-visual medium, that is the time when people will, really believe. There are so many things in there which common citizens of India wouldn't know, as we didn't know earlier. But thanks to people of, the entire community who helped us, it must have been very difficult for them to share their stories with us. It must have been very painful for them to relive the tragedy all over again. But they still did that. They, gave us the whole narration of the horrible things that have happened to their families. And we have tried to put as much as we can in the movie. So when we come to US, when we are in the process of releasing the movie, normally it's, making movies is our job, it's our bread and butter, but this movie is a little different for us because this is not about making money. This is not about commerce and economics. This is more about, doing something that we have failed to do in the past. So this is our way of saying sorry to the Kashmiri Pandit community. And I hope the film is received well by the people of India, by the people of the entire world, and the world at large understands what happened to your community. And hopefully one day, as you said, as Mr. Banzai, I think said in the beginning, there is a lot of development happening in Kashmir. We've seen the same module in Punjab earlier, when there was a lot of terrorism there, when the development began, when people started getting jobs, and when people start getting used to working and putting that food on the table thrice a day, they really don't have time for anything else. But they become part of that development. And if we see the same, module happening in Kashmir, then very soon, hopefully, the Kashmiri Pandits can go back to their ancestral homes, can go back to their land. And Vivek and I think we'll be the happiest people when that happens. So I've almost reached the wedding. I won't be able to talk more, but thank you so much for making us a part of this. And over to you again, Surinderji.
Thank you, Pallaviji. It's the biggest punishment for a person to listen to your praises just in front of you. So you put me on a spot, and I don't deserve that. It's not a movie. It's not a movie for us. It is every drop of tear, every drop of blood. That is how I see it. And that's perhaps how community sees it. Not with the vengeance, not with the malice, not with the hate. Kashmiri Hindus have always been resilient. There are lots of success stories. And despite an attempt to finish this community, we are standing on our own legs and serving mankind, not only in India, but globally. You will see our people working in Boeing. You will see our people working in Microsoft. You will see our people working in leading hospitals just to serve mankind, because our foundation is not on the basis of hate. Our foundation is on the basis of love, caring, and sharing. So on this note, Vivekji, floor is yours. Thank you, Pallaviji.
Thank you, everyone, and all the esteemed people in this panel. First, I want to thank everybody for your love, and I have no words except for gratitude for everything. And whatever I have to say, I think I have said in the film, and I have nothing left to say. I'm totally uh, uh, emotionally vacuumed right now. All I can say is that when I'll tell you how this whole process started very briefly. I'll tell you, I by a chance meeting, and I very strongly believe in divine connections. When the right time comes, you get to meet right people, and it was in chance meeting. Dr. Surinder called, asked me, why don't you guys make some documentary? I think that's how it came. And I said, the biggest problem with this Kashmir tragedy is that you guys have no image, like if you look at the Holocaust, there are images which haunt you. You look at Bhopal gas tragedy, there's an image of a child who is being buried in the ground. You Vietnam War, you have that image of that in Cambodia, I think, that young naked boy running and people with guns after him. Sikh massacre, you have images, but here there is no imagery. And nobody even tried to make anything worthwhile which can convert into imagery. Now, the whole problem is 30 years, like Mr. Bamzai was saying, is a long time. A new generation comes in. I know I was in Delhi when this whole thing happened, but neither the press covered it the way it deserved, nor the film industry, any industry which basically creates narrative or records or catalog the history, did not give it due respect, and they did not cover it. So when I got involved with this film, the first two things came to in my mind. One, nobody knows about this pain and suffering, which is the easiest thing to tell people. Pain and suffering you can through movie tell. But what was the biggest tragedy of India is that people till date do not even understand why Kashmir is important for us. This political debate, everybody has started believing Kashmir is important because we don't want it to go to Pakistan. Kashmir has been trivialized, or we have trivialized this problem just in relation to Pakistan. You ask anybody in India, anybody, a child or an elder person who's not a Kashmiri, he'll say, why Kashmir is so important? They'll say, because otherwise Pakistan will take it over. That's a secondary thing. There was no Pakistan 1300 years ago. It's a long civilizational war. And why this civilizational war? Because when I studied and researched anything which today India is proud of, all those fundamentals, All those pillars which India talks about becoming Vishwaguru have come from Kashmir, without exception, without exception. Be it literature, be it philosophy, the greatest philosophy in India. See, all the religions are based on faith. Ours is the only civilization and culture which is based on great philosophy. The philosophy of Advaita, the philosophy of Shaivism, of oneness, that comes from Kashmir. The entire musicology which we talk about with so much of pride, we say Vishwaguru, soft power, that comes from Kashmir. Our literature, Sahitya comes from Kashmir. So many things come from Kashmir. The Panchtantra comes from Kashmir, the most translated book in the world. It's not Shakespeare or Bible, it's Panchtantra. Nobody knows, no teacher teaches all these things. I said it's very important that 3 objectives I had. One, that everybody who sees this film understands the value of Kashmir. Everybody knows the value of Kashi, value of Haridwar, but the contribution in front of Kashmir's contribution to India's intellectual, cultural, and spiritual evolution is unparalleled. Second thing was, people have to understand that just by saying Kashmiri Pandit problem, which is being used only politically today, people started believing, the new generation started somewhere subliminally or subconsciously, they started thinking that it is somebody else's problem. It's a community which is different from us. And yes, indirectly we should support them. No, nobody looks at any other state the way people have looked at Kashmir. And for that, I would blame our politicians and media equally, and the intellectuals and the historians, everybody. So I thought, briefly speaking, that this film should take the audience into an orbit, into an era or at the time, and make them feel and experience exactly how the victims of the Kashmir genocide felt. It was one of the most difficult challenges, and I would like to tell you that yes, I feel, I believe, whoever has seen it so far, we have been able to accomplish it. The film in the end leaves you stunned, not because of the pain and anguish, because of self-pity, that it was happening to my brothers and sisters and I didn't know, I couldn't do anything. And like Pallavi said, this is our way of saying sorry on behalf of 1.3 billion people. So we are bringing this film. This is very unusual thing is happening thanks to Dr. Surinder Kaul and the other people, Shefalika, Neerja ji, everybody in fact, never in the history of any mainstream film. First, I want to tell you, it's not a documentary and it's not an art house cinema. It's a proper feature film, like Schindler's List or any other Holocaust movie. And never in the history of cinema, whether Hollywood or Bollywood or Europe or anywhere, where a film has gone for so many pre-release previews. Never. Nobody would do that because people want to release it on Friday and people want other people to come and watch it, and box office should walk happily to their banks. But this is happening thanks to everybody's effort. And I hope that we have succeeded. Success is not a good word. We have done justice to the story. And from my side, I must promise you that this film is just the beginning. I have a plan in my mind. I want to start a big conversation around it. I want to take it to a stage where politicians are forced to notice it and take it very seriously, and not just for the vote bank. You have to understand, like Bamzai Saab was talking just now, that politicians don't care. Politicians care only when you have a voice, when you have a clout. And cinema, trust me, whether people like or not, whether people hate Bollywood, whatever they do, but cinema is one of the most powerful modern tool, or I would say the power in your hands. This is your film. Use it whichever way you want. So I would, Surendraji, would you like to just show the brochure or the whatever small screener or whatever, or you want to do it later? What do you want to
Yes. Thank you, Vivekji. You know, as I said, we have our community jewels who have done a huge commitment, sacrificed their lives, their time and energy. I think with the permission of Gaddu Sahab, Kashi ji, Moti ji and Sudhir Sopori ji, this is symbolically being released through their hands for their services for the community that we are going to see. Okay, so let's go ahead and thank our stalwarts also. And symbolically, all the material is being released with their permission, with their blessings. Shafalika ji, go ahead and share them. So this is, you want to say something, Vivek ji? You can come in.
Nothing. It's just to give you an idea what this film is all about. But I think Shefalika ji, you'll have to move the thing, page by page.
Yeah,
You have to go.
yeah. Go on to page number second. So this is no, yeah. This is
This is
yeah,
the
this Kashmir genocide. So this is evident what it is. The night of January 19th, 1990 marks the bloodiest day in the history of Kashmir, India. The indigenous community of Kashmiri Pandits faced their worst nightmare, the Kashmiri Pandit genocide. 5 lakh Kashmiri Pandits ran for their lives to never go back to Kashmir. Over 4,000 Kashmiri Pandits were killed in genocide. Over 6,000 Kashmiri Pandits died in the aftermath. Women were brutally raped. This was important so that you know where do we stand, what this movie is about. And you can scroll now. This is the official brochure of the movie that is being released as we speak. So it talks about the journey, how it was, how many testimonials were collected, what were the challenges, what were the things. Move on, Shafalika ji. So this is the synopsis. Basically, it's a very creative synopsis. This is the star Mithun Chakravarti. This is our own Anupam Kherji, Darshan Kumar ji, our own favorite Pallavi Joshi ji. So these are our stars, Puneet Isar. And here, take a pause. You know, our community daughter, Basha Sumbali, is performing one of the very important roles and very bold role. We are immensely thankful for her. You know, she has done a very brilliant job, and she is going to make all of us proud. And the I know, privy to, she didn't tell me, many of the scenes has to be recreated because many of the stars went into post-traumatic stress disorder. The shoot has to be canceled because of the breakdowns. There was so much of stress, so much of thing while recreating the scenes. We should immensely thank Basha Sumli ji, our community daughter, definitely other artists who have performed in this movie. Go ahead. Well, our own Vivek ji. Now let us play. So these are the support. Can you focus on this chart where you can scroll the organization supporting it so that everybody gets a little flavor? Okay, I think there's some issues. American Telugu Association, Gujarati Mandal, Six for America, um, Jews of Indian Jewish Congregation, Indian Community Outreach, all mind makers, all associations. You will feel proud that the whole diaspora and outside diaspora is moving this, because this is a people's movie. This is not a movie for this is being driven, this is being taken charge of. And now let us go on to the screensaver. The screensaver, the teaser for the movie, as per the contract, we cannot show the clips of the movie because there will be an official teaser of the movie that will come out. But we are very much thankful to Vivek ji for creating a teaser for the US road show. So Shafarika ji, can we play that teaser? It's a little bit emotional. This is about how the community came together, what were the things. So let's get started on that. Shafalika ji, are you doing that? You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Sorry, just give me 1 second.
Yeah. So let us see this. Yes.
Some issues.
Yeah, just give it a minute and it will download and then play.
Yeah, I think let it download. Yeah. But in the meantime,
in the meanwhile, let us get our own jewels, community jewels. Let me invite Padma Shri Kashinath Pandita ji to speak a few moments today. Kashi ji, are you there? Is Kashi ji there? Okay, it started. Actually, it started now. Let's watch this saver and. Thank you so much, Shafalika ji. You know, it's a very emotional moment. We do go into flashback. And at this note, let me get our Padma Shri Kashinath Pandita ji to speak on this occasion. Kashi ji, floor is yours. Please come in.
Kashi ji, please unmute.
Kashi ji, unmute yourself and turn on your video. Okay, maybe if he's busy, let's get Godu Saab, respected Godu Saab, to come in and speak on this moment, and whatever you want to share, please do. Again, we are very much thankful to you for your services, for your relentless services. At this time also, you are serving the community, and the way you have been served the community for decades. It is an honor that you are driving it at this age, and you are an inspiration. Godu Sir, floor is yours. Please speaking. Coming.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Do you get me?
Yes, Godu Sahab, I see that you are very emotional. Please control yourself.
Well, at the outset, I want to thank you and Mr. Agnihotri for this bold film. It's a really eye-opener for many of us. But I will speak on my journey and the road of survival. I will not repeat what honorable speakers have already said elaborately. But it's very essential to know how we face this problem. I joined Kashmir Samiti in 1986 when the first onslaught on Kashmiri Pandits was experienced in Anantnag district. We in Delhi, we protested in a big way, and that protest attracted all Kashmiri Pandits living in Delhi, including myself, and we joined this whole stream. Our elders had built one place which was allotted to them at Lajpat Nagar, that is known as Kashmir Bhavan, which became the focal point of our struggle. In after the assassination or martyrdom of Pandit Tiklao Teplu, our people in Delhi, they were panicky. They said that we have to sit together and draw a plan how to face this calamity, because everybody is feeling something bad is going to happen. My elders picked me up and said, "This, you have to face this challenge." It is November 89. We were trying to settle down. We, on 25th December, we called the meeting of all intellectuals and our active workers, and we had to draw a plan how to face any eventuality. Unfortunately, on 19th January 1990, which you have shown and which others have also spoken, that was a horrible night. Hell was let loose. There was no administration, nothing of that. Thousands and lakhs of people came out in streets. And what happened, that is a history. People left that place and they started moving to, rather they were forced to get away. Either they went to Jammu or to Delhi. In Delhi, this Kashmir Bhavan became, as I said, a focal point. We turned that in a sort of a place where our people will come. It was rather a camp, I could say. This was a temporary camp where our people will come and stay. We started a langar there, free of charges. We tried to give some basic things to our people, and then we approached government also. Government allotted us 14 camps, and we shifted our people, our brethren, to those camps. And in the meantime, we started just enrolling them. Enrolling means we wanted to know who has come, and rather that enrollment was taken over by the government, and then and they made that basic, and they started just enrolling others who had come. So this was one part. The other part was in thousands of people came on streets. We shouted, we did everything. Police lathi charged us, everything. I mean, old, young, ladies, everybody participated in our that long march. But at the same time, we tried to get in touch with the government. Government, as we are not a vote bank, so there was a lip sympathy all around. But we tried to stand and face it ourselves. Our people, our all, community members living in Delhi, they came almost everybody and tried to help this great task. And as you have said, the terrorism is basically negation of human rights. We were denied our basic amenities, basic rights, both by the government as well as, uh, and nobody bothered uh, in our whole society. And we tried to uh, just tell people that this has happened. Slowly and slowly, people started realizing. What we did, we organized some meetings, seminars, where we used to call every uh, people, leaders from the different parties, and put our point of view before them. In one of the, it's a long history, but I will cut short and give you some basic inputs. In during 1993, we had a one seminar on human rights violation, and uh, Vajpayee was the chief guest. He, myself and Dr. Ting, we thought of that we should document all what has happened to us, and uh, that will give an idea, and we will distribute that to our people, not to our only to our community, but outside that, because that was very important, that people should know what has happened really, what is the truth about our ethnic cleansing. So the first booklet which came in 1993 November, which was released by Mr. Vajpayee, is this small booklet. Vajpayee was so impressed with this during his during early '94. He was supposed to go to Geneva to represent India. He was the leader of delegation at that time, although it was a Congress government, but still he was chosen. Vajpayee took number of books with him, and I was told by people that Vajpayee himself distributed to each and every member. Our people who had gone there, they requested him that they will do this job, but he told them bluntly that I have promised to distribute, I will do this job myself. A very, really great thing. Then again, as far as uh, our speaker said that there was no response from uh, the I mean, uh, these ruling class or political parties. But I have to say something different. I remember in one of the seminars, we requested Mr. Pilot. He was the home minister at that time. He came, he felt sorry. He said that we could not do anything. And then in another meeting, George Fenton was the Kashmir Affairs Minister. He came several times. He also apologized, and with their efforts, we could get relief for some people and some accommodation for our people at different places. My friend Dr. Teng told me that it is very important for us to document the whole thing. So we started documenting, and that is a white paper on Kashmir. This white paper on Kashmir is the true story of Kashmir, what has happened there, how we were driven out. It was released by Mr. Kedarnath Sahni, who was the president of BJP at that time. After my tenure from this Kashmir Samiti, first tenure, I went and joined as a president of J&K Cell, Bharatiya Janata Party, Delhi Pradesh. There I found earlier in Kashmir Samiti, we had spoken much on Article 370 and all that, we had press conferences, and we didn't have uh, this social media or even internet or mobile that time. But this print media that really helped us, and they spread our message. And they when this white then we drafted this white paper, and it was released by Kedarnath Sahni in 1996. Again, uh, many more things came up in between. We wanted to help. We called one meeting there. Again in 95, there in New Delhi, and requested all BJP chief ministers to participate. They all came. There we requested, as the president of this BJP cell, I requested them that the primary thing what we need this time is the education for our children. We want to stand on our own feet. And with the grace of God, this Madan Lal Khurana, another stalwart, he was the chief minister of Delhi that time. He initiated, he said that we will give reservation in Delhi. Then it was followed by Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Rajasthan, because all these chief ministers were there. And it was something, a turning point for our students, and they could get education and reservation. One more important thing happened in 1995. BJP leaders, by and large, were speaking on 370 and all that. When I was a president of CEL, I saw that there is no trace of this Article 370 in their manifestos, only just speaking. So the first thing I requested Sahniji that a resolution on 370 should be brought before Bharatiya Janata Party leaders, and they should endorse it. And he agreed. He and Kedarnath Sahni and Madan Lal Khurana, two rishis rather, Karma yogis, they were of great help to us. On my request, Sahniji arranged a big meeting, which was presided by him. And that time, national president was Mr. L.K. Advani. He was there. General secretary was Srimati Sushma Swaraj. She was there. And Sahniji and myself, we are on the dais. I just started speaking on Article 370. Then I brought a resolution on 370 as an official resolution for BJP, which was endorsed by the full house. And while all this is not all what I am speaking, we have documented this. I have documented the whole thing recently, because I know how Mr. Agnihotri must have gone this ordeal, collecting all information. I also did same thing. And I have come up with a book, a document of 250 pages, which is giving our struggle of during 90s. That means, I say, from 19 to 2003, our first 14 years of Vanvas. This is something which we have analyzed. We have many books. We came up with many printed material, because that was the only way how to speak for ourselves, how we could circulate our message, how we could educate people. And I was called by our association in London. There I spoke in White House, sorry, House of Commons there. And then I was just invited by your KIAF, Dr.
Sazal.
Huh?
IAKF?
My doctor, Vijay Swadawal. He arranged a meeting at his place, and he had called some these lawmakers of, and I spent the whole night with them explaining. Then they appreciated our way. They wrote me back also, which was published in a way that we have tried to put our point of view before everybody. I have myself placed before what there was in 2007, a parliamentary committee was established by the government of India, and I have presented my case before them. And similarly, I went to rather Kashmir Samiti went to NHRC. We were the signatory when decision came that this about the first decision. Surprisingly, genocide, akin to genocide. I don't know what is the action. There was apparent genocide, and these people anyway. We had to be satisfied with that, and then I, on behalf of my brethren, I asked National Human Rights Committee that there were hundreds and thousands of houses which we want the inventory of those houses lying vacant there. So on the directions of NRCC, these Jammu Kashmir government furnished a long list of all what was lying there. Similarly, as you know, I had a great fancy for my temples. I wrote a book also on that, Kashmir Hindu Shrines. This is perhaps the first book that came up during our exile, and that was followed by our Kashmir Hindu religious practices, everything recorded here. And as far as human rights violation and militancy is concerned, Dr. Taing and myself came with other books. In nutshell, we tried to get to just document the whole thing. These are available in different libraries. I am happy that after some time, people may again think of what has happened. And as far as why the ruling class is taking us lightly, there is one, in democracy, it is the vote bank which plays the major role. Although our miseries were sold at different places and they could get some more thing, I don't want to go into for that. But ultimately, it is the vote bank politics which plays in democracy. And we have to go many miles ahead. Yes, I don't want to take much time. Thank you. And please compliment from my side to Mr. Agnihotri and his team for his excellent work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gadu Saab. God give you long life with good health and happiness and prosperity. You are still young and you do much more job than the young and the youngest of our community. So you are a role model and an inspiration. At this note, I hope that Padma Shri Kashinath ji is available. Kashi ji, can you please unmute yourself and turn on your video, please? Kashi ji. Kashi ji, if you are listening, can you please unmute yourself?
He's coming.
He's coming. Okay.
Actually, his video is on. His audio is off. His video has been on for a while, but it's all blank. So I don't know if he's there or not.
Maybe he's out of his seat right now. Utpal ji, could you please reach out to him and tell him that we are waiting for him? In the meanwhile, let us hear from...
His phone is switched off.
Okay. Let us hear from Moti ji, Moti Kol ji. Floor is yours. Whatever you want to share, we are here to listen to you.
Can you hear me? It's okay?
Yes, yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I think a lot has already been said, so I'll just get to the movie itself. First of all, it's a great privilege today to be part of this exclusive pre-release preview of the eagerly awaited movie, The Kashmir Files. On behalf of my community, let me express my gratitude, first of all, to Sri Vivek Agnihotri ji and Palvi ji for daring to make a movie on a subject that has been deliberately forgotten. We shall today witness, of course, we have already done that, the glimpses of the movie that shall for the first time present the true story of our tragic exodus from the valley. This untold story, friends, which is being presented after 3 decades, when the entire ethnic race and the original aborigines, as everyone knows, was thrown out from Kashmir. Friends, both these outstanding citizens of our country, I'm referring to Vivek ji and Pallavi ji, are indeed a pride of the nation and our community in particular. Let me repeat, we shall forever remain indebted to them for this contribution. It's not everyone's cup of tea to pick subjects that are sensitive, deliberately ignored by the vested interests, and commercially uncertain. So all kudos to Vivek ji and Pallavi ji. We have also already been witness to a masterpiece of Vivek ji, I think many people must be knowing about, the Tashkent Files, which was yet again based on extensive research and factual content, which became a huge success in the country and overseas. Friends, as far as the making of the Kashmir File is concerned, we have already seen this passionate couple did not leave any stone unturned in bringing out the real facts behind our horrible 7th Exodus. Well, it is a sad irony that even after 3 decades, we continue to be living as refugees in our own country. Friends, I'm more than sure that the Kashmir Files, with Vivek ji as the director and outstanding actors that include our own Anupam ji, shall become a huge success. I believe finally our story shall reach to the masses of this nation as well as the international community, as I can see the way it is being released in US and other places. Let me also say that it is heartening to see that our own global Kashmiri Pandit community, diaspora, the GKPD, is going to be playing an active role in the promotion of this movie worldwide. Thank you once again for making me part of this historical release and wishing Vivek ji and Pallavi ji all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Moti ji. You have always been on the forefront of the community things, and we salute you for that. I see that Kashi ji is here, Padma Shri Kashi Pandita ji is here. He is again an inspiration for the whole community, and not only the whole community, for the whole Bharat. He has been representing the interests of the Bharat, interests of the community, and highlighting the causes relentlessly, without a break, at this age, at United Nations. So our salute to you, Padma Shri Kashinath ji. May God give you good health and keep you hale and hearty. Floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me a few minutes. I have listened with rapt attention the presentations made. All I can say is that we thank Agnihotri ji and you, Surinder ji, and others who extended support to him in making this film. So this is recording an important event of history of India and our community. We're thankful to Agnihotriji for this contribution. I will not say, there's no need to say what happened or what's happening. We all know it. But sincerely, for some months, I have been, especially after the Afghan crisis situation in Afghanistan, I have been monitoring this situation very closely. I am greatly alarmed about what is going to happen, not only in Kashmir, but in the entire subcontinent. This situation is extremely tense because our two neighbors are bent upon changing the course of history, and they are taking certain steps, strategic steps, militarily and socially, which pose great challenge to the Indian nation as a whole, and especially to the democratic and secular concepts of our country. I don't think that anybody else, any country, is as much under threat as our country. The Ghazwatul Hind, or what we call the IS Khorasan, the Taliban, and various terrorist organizations, the state actors in Pakistan, have come together. We may know or may not know, but they have come together. And as the Home Minister of Taliban government, Haqqani, said that after Kabul, Kashmir is our next agenda. Friends, I attach no importance to what the Kashmiris say or think. The fact is that Kashmir is integral to wide Islamic resurgence and establishment of the Islamic Caliphate. All that I would advise my community members is not to think about Kashmir in isolation, but take the entire spectrum of Islamic resurgence into account. The world is divided. Democracy is under threat in the entire world. The US has lost its strength, even moral strength. I appreciate you will be demonstrating this along with this film in the streets in USA, different states. But is the US really in a position to do anything about it? I think in no position at all. Therefore, the questions for the time being, the questions like return, rehabilitation, and all these things with honor and dignity and security, and all these things become irrelevant. And we should not waste time on those things. Take into account the threats that are looking us direct into our eyeball. The only way for this country, our country and our community is that from 18 to 28, the age group of 18 to 28, in this country, unless they take up the gun, unless they go through the module of Israel, there is no hope of survival. The ISI and its affiliates, Al-Qaeda and so, all of them have engulfed entire India. Leave aside Kashmir, entire India. And by these feigned show of peace and brotherhood and secularism and all those, it's not going to help. That's all that I have to say. Militarize the youth. That's the only way you can survive. Otherwise, not. You're gone, finished. Culture gone, civilization gone, history gone. It's all useless. Because take into account the magnitude of the threat, how they are planning, how they have done, how they are widening the sphere of militancy. Every bureaucrat in Kashmir is radicalized. Every home, every person, every child is radicalized. Hate India, hate Hindu. That is the lesson they get. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Padma Shri Kashiji. Your analysis, being a staunch community activist in the thick of it, relentlessly for several decades, means a lot. We hear you. On this note, let me invite Professor Sudhir Sopori Sahab. He's an example of what a Kashmiri Pandit means. He's an example of how Kashmiri Pandit serves mankind. He's an example of excellence. He's an example of meritocracy. He's an example of resilience, and who is serving as a leadership in the community associations. He has been the vice chancellor of the JNU and has lots of accolades, lots of research, lots of students that he has uplifted and educated. So this is a piece of what Kashmiri Pandit means. On this note, Dr. Soporisa, floor is yours.
Thank you, Surendraji. I'm really privileged to be part of this esteemed panel. However, I must acknowledge that I'm neither a historian or a social activist or a political analyst in any sense. I'm just a well-wisher of the community and try to do a little bit of work for the community. At the outset, my deep appreciation and grateful thanks, as everybody mentioned, to the team of Kashmir Files for unearthing the reality and facts about the genocide and forced exodus of Kashmiri Pandits in the early 90s. It's a great amount of research work which has been done. I was thinking like we do in the laboratory research work, I think the whole team, including Surendraji and others, have done very deep research in this one. This visual format of presentation, which I just saw, I'm sure will have great impressionable impact on the viewers. Now, atrocities on Kashmiri Pandits has been going on for centuries. There have been repeated attempts to convert Kashmiri Pandits to Islam or to drive them away, create conditions that they are driven away from the land of Abhinav Gupta and land of many saints and scholars. You must understand the basic idea of all this has been to annihilate the educated and spiritual community and permanently destroy their cultural heritage. They have not succeeded yet, and I'm sure they will not succeed. I must mention, as was mentioned by Gaddu Sahab also, that earlier many books and articles have been written. There have been innumerable seminars have been held to recount the sad story of Kashmiri Pandits, exodus, and the hardships they have undergone during the last 32 years. All these attempts had their own impact from the point of view of addressing some of their concerns and providing support to the community. However, I feel making movies about social issues, especially on topics of genocide and forced migration, especially on human suffering, which is depicted in this movie, I feel it's a most powerful medium of connecting to the society and to stir the consciousness in the society. And I'm hopeful that Kashmir Files will just trigger that spark. It should awaken our society at large. And I also hope that Kashmir Files will elicit a desirable response in India and abroad to help provide justice and long-lasting solution to the cause of Kashmiri Pandits. I also very sure that this movie will make our public to better understand the fundamental cause of the problem. Many still deny this, and they still talk about Kashmir being a political issue. It is surely not that. It has religious agenda that is executed by the extremist groups from across the border. And this is very well presented by Pandita Sahib. We need therefore to see how this culture and religious terrorism, which has started in Kashmir, can be tackled. Our civil society has to realize that if it is not perceived in the right perspective, Kashmir is not going to remain an isolated case. We have seen the spread of this trend. Recently, it was in the news, Kairana in UP and some other places across the country. Many of you must have seen the newspaper today when Ajit Doval in his address to IPS officers has said, nowadays wars are too costly to fight. The fourth generation warfare is something which will affect the civil society. The civil society has to be fragmented, has to be divided, has to be manipulated to hurt the interest of the nation. That is the fourth generation warfare which is going to be there. Now, genocides have occurred across many places, many times in the globe. And people have written, depicted these atrocities via movies, writing, and creating museums like Holocaust, which Surendraji was mentioning in New York, where you are going to probably display this movie. So it is very important that through all these media, we sensitize the public. In fact, I visited some of these Holocaust, these museums in Kigali in Rwanda, where 2 million Tutsi tribes were eliminated in 20-year war. And only after President Kagame came into power, things were brought to order. And this genocide memorial which they have built, they call it a place for remembrance and learning. So these movies become that site of historical things. Similarly, in Dachau in Germany, when I was reading there, studying in Germany, I visited that one. And this was a museum which was created by Germans themselves. And I asked my professor, why you have built this museum yourself and the movies about it. And he says, we want our next generation to know what we did to the Jews so that it is not repeated ever again. So movies like Kashmir Files, museums and others, which depict the crime against humanity, usually galvanize the senses and leave a lasting impact on the mind of people and those in power. And we hope these things will drive us all to find solutions. Mind you, I think the last point I want to mention is that in absence of such documentations, the truth, the facts can be always distorted. As Matt Fagerholm wrote in 270, in fact, he was commenting on a documentary which was intent to destroy, death, denial, and depiction. And he said, over a period of time, history can be rewritten, facts can be deemed fiction, and wounds of unacknowledged atrocities will be left unheard. And in India, history, we have seen how this can be changed. To end my remarks, I once again thank all the producers, the director, the actors. I don't want to name all of them. Thank them on behalf of the community, my own, to have brought out the facts, the naked truth about KP exodus and atrocities. This time the world would know the reality, also understand the agenda behind driving Kashmiri Pandits out of the valley. Lastly, we hope that together, the civil society in the UT, in the country and the government, we can usher in a lasting solution to the problem of return of the Kashmiri Pandits to the valley. For us, it is not just a matter of resettlement issue. It's an emotional connect to the land, of preserving our culture and heritage. And on this theme, every Kashmiri Pandit across the globe has just one voice. Lastly, thanks to Surinder Kaulji, GKPD, for organizing this event. And I'm sure this movie will have the impact which it's desired to have on the society. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Saab. Yes, with your blessings and the blessings of the stalwart, I'm pretty sure that this movie will meet its objective in all its desired targets. So on this note, Utpalji, do we have, I know we need to conclude it. Utpalji, do we have Krishanji, Krishan Kemuji or Sanjay Ganjuji? I don't see them here, but I just wanted to check. Okay, now they're not here. Let me now give a minute to Shafalika ji, a minute to Nirja ji, minute to Virender Kaul ji, and then we'll come on to the vote of thanks from Utpal ji and conclude this session. So Shafalika ji, yeah, you go ahead. 1 minute.
Anjuji, I already said my thanks at the beginning, but one thing, it's the teaser we saw of how they filmed the movie. I really want to commend VRA Productions, Vivek ji and Pallavi ji. They sat through such hard stories. Even I, when I was sitting with them and people were talking about their stories, it was highly emotional. And they had to record it, and they had to, I was just part of a few sessions, but they sat through 700 interviews, no less. So hats off to them and their dedication. We are obviously will always be grateful to them. They are part of family now. That's all really I want to say. The movie is going to be wonderful. I have no doubt. It is a masterpiece. It is one of the first attempts to really show what actually happened to us. And, like Vivek ji said, media is very powerful. We can talk about things, we can write books, but one thing we have to learn from the Holocaust survivors, from the Jews, is they have documented everything in the form of videos, in the form of movies. And I think that is very important for us to do, because that lasts generations. So on that note, I would pass on to the next speaker. Nirja Sadhuji. That's all I need to say. Thank you.
Nirja ji, thank
Thank
you.
you, Shafalika. Namaskar, everyone, and thank you so much for being part of this session. I just have to say just a few words about Vivek and Pallavi ji. It's past gratitude now. We have immense love, respect for the couple. When they came to US, they sat with each one of us in our homes. I requested them times and again that I can bring the crowd to you, and their take was no. We want to come and visit you. We want to be in your home, in your comfort, and see a community that was thrown out from the comforts of their home, how you have built these new homes, and how much of a contribution you are making to the societies that you live in. It was such a powerful statement from them that it really moved me. And for the first time in my almost 30 years, it was the first time that I could relate, I could say my piece uninterrupted. I was sobbing, so was Vivek ji on the other side. And I was looking on my right, it was Pallavi ji sobbing on the other side. And it was not only me. It was not just me. They did it. It happened in each and every home that they visited in at least in US. It tells a whole lot about them. It was not sympathy. It was empathy. It was something that they could feel inside, and they were just trying. They were not even trying to do it. It was just automatically happening. And for me, somebody listening to me and not questioning a victim, why you left, how you left, why you didn't pick guns, your pagodas, your this and that. I had somebody who was listening to me uninterrupted and crying with me. And they were two humble, humane people and their son Manan listening to us. And it was, I don't know what I can tell you. I get emotional every time I relate this. Vivek and Pallaviji, you have a place in our hearts, in our homes forever. And we wish everything for this Kashmir files, not because it is our story or it is something that we have faced, for everybody else to see what can happen and how we as a community have been resilient, have been tolerant, even when we were ignored, we were totally ignored by one and all, political, country, people. And here you were empathizing with us, saying sorry on behalf of 1.3 billion people. That really is very, very touching for us. So thank you so much. And thank you is not enough, I know, but I had a lot to say, but I know there's no time for all that. So all the best. I'll see you in US. We'll meet and have kahwa as I have promised.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Vivek is here. Listening to
Yes, Keva is definitely that's a
Yeah.
promise she made to me in the morning.
Yeah, Vivek, I'll come to you before before vote of thanks. But before that, I want to get in our Virender Kolji, our international coordinator. He always shy away from coming in public appearances. He doesn't want, every time we have to request him, no, please be. People want to see you. So Virender ji, floor is yours. You want to share some
Thanks, Dr.
comments?
Saab. Thanks a lot. And namaskar, Vivek ji. It's a pleasure to be in your group. And you are a priceless, you and your wife, you are a priceless gift to me and to the community. Please always remember that this movie will do what 1,000 books could not do. I know what you must have made. I have seen your Tashkent files. So now, after 3 years of your devotion and hard work and passion, the responsibility is now ours to ensure this movie reaches every home in India. And wherever our Indian diaspora is there, in Africa, Europe, it's our responsibility to carry it there. That one we promise you. जितना हम में दम होगा सर हम पक्का करेंगे हर घर में लेके जाएंगे इसको. God bless you. Always with you, Mara. Always with you. Namaskar. Thank you.
Virender ji speaks less, does more. So on that, before coming to Utpal ji for vote of thanks, I would like to talk about a personal anecdote with Vivek ji on my first interaction. Vivek ji, bol do kya? Okay. When I went to him, so he was in Houston, and I told him the whole story of Kashmiri, what happened there in Kashmir. So he's looking at me and he's saying, basic problem is that nobody knew what happened actually. I'm telling you, and he's so much into it. He's so much into everything. And I can figure out that he was ignorant on many things. I'm sorry, Vivekji, if I'm trying to be very honest. And once I told him everything about genocide, ethnic cleansing, and he told me in Hindi, बोले सुरेंद्र जी आप इतने अच्छे कपड़े पहने हुए हो, you are smart, which I am not, आपके मुंह चेहरे पे हंसी है, आप अच्छी गाड़ी चलाते हो, आप डॉक्टर हो, कौन बोलेगा आपके साथ जेनोसाइड? And this was striking. I said, Vivek ji, person of this intellect will respond to me like this. Anyhow, so I think there was definitely a divine intervention, not me, not Vivek ji. It was something else. I believe in supernatural forces that act and basically everything is destined how it happened. And perhaps he went back to India and he narrated the whole story to Pallaviji. And then I'm receiving a phone call from him. And he said that when I talked to Pallavi, and she started crying. And we will do something about it for sure. And that was a sort of a spark that generated. On this note, before coming to Utpalji, I wanted to share with all. I hope I didn't put Vivekji on spot, but if you want to share something, Vivekji, before we conclude this session, and go ahead.
No, I remember that very well. And so actually, there are some Padma Shri Kashi Pandit ji is there, Sudhir ji is there. So all I would say is that yeah, of course, it's a story of pain and suffering, but the way I looked at the whole thing of Kashmiri Pandits, that it's also a story of success, and I think that is the goddesses Sharda, Saraswati, and that's all kept haunting me. And I said, Jo bhi hoga, ab Saraswati ki aashirwad se hi hoga, with the blessing of Saraswati. And that's how this film was made. Cheezein hoti gayi, people came together. And so whatever I said, whatever I have to say, I've said in the film. So I hope, I'm very excited and nervous at the same time on the 26th, 27th, I think, when the first screening will be held. And after that, obviously, all of you will get to know what the film is all about. So please bless us that we have been able to do justice to this greatest human tragedy and the greatest human success also at the same time.
Thank you, Vivek ji. हम तो screen पे कुछ ही लोग हैं, but the force behind this are so many who are unsung, who are just behind this, who are not in this panel. And I don't want to name, there are so many that I cannot even do justice with that. So we thank all our activists, all community activists, and all Indian diaspora. This is a big, big change that the Indian diaspora, Indians are taking up our issues that has been missing before, and perhaps creating a right narrative. So on this note, I know Utpalji is always punished to being the last speaker and do the job of thanks. So floor is yours, Utpalji, without wasting time.
नमस्कार। दरअसल मैं कश्मीर का टॉपिक हो, कश्मीरी पंडित के ऊपर टॉपिक हो, तो इसमें मुझे बहुत समय चाहिए, लेकिन मुझे धन्यवाद देने के लिए बोला है। जो भी जितने भी यहाँ जिन्होंने बोला हो, और पैनलिस्ट और स्पीकर्स, आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। एंड एक्सेप्ट विवेक अग्निहोत्री जी, वो तो गुल हो गए, और पल्लवी जी, I don't want to thank them because they have done national duty. They have done, एक भारतीय की तरफ से उन्होंने एक कर्म किया है, और अच्छा कर्म करने के लिए धन्यवाद की जरूरत नहीं होती है। कर्मणे वाजिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फले तुर्भु माते संगोस कर्मणि। उन्होंने अपना एक कर्म कर लिया कि उन्होंने सच को आगे बढ़ाया, और हमारे पास we have millions of stories what happened with us, और हम एक जिंदा दिल कौम है। हमने पिछले 500-700 साल कभी हमने हार नहीं मानी, और हमने हर एक चैलेंज को एक्सेप्ट किया है, और आगे भी करते रहेंगे। मैं उन सब शहीदों को नमन करता हूं जो कश्मीर के लिए, भारतीय सेना का, और सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस का, और उन सब का जिन्होंने जम्मू से लेके दिल्ली में और भारत के उन शहरों में कितना शिद्दत से काम किया 90 और 90 के बाद भी। और एक और चीज कि हम अगर ये कहते हैं कि हमको गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ नहीं किया, हमको कोई सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने कुछ नहीं किया, अगर हमको कुछ नहीं किया होता हम सरवाइव नहीं करते। इसलिए मुझे पूरा ध्यान है कि हमने जब सहायता समिति से, बिकॉज आई वाज अ स्पोक्स पर्सन एट दैट टाइम, 90 में हमको सहायता समिति से हमने काम जब शुरू किया गीता भवन में, तो राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ, सनातन धर्म सभा, आर्य समाज और सिख समाज, कितने ही लोग हमारी सेवा के लिए आगे बढ़े और हम उन सब का बहुत बहुत जम्मू के लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं। और मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि ये कश्मीर फाइल पूरे विश्व में भी जाएगी और पूरे it will give a real, true picture of what happened with us, about our genocide, about our exodus. And सुरेंद्र जी ने जैसे कहा कि विवेक जी ने उनको कहा कि आप डॉक्टर हो, कार में हो, तो आप कैसे रिफ्यूजी हो। इट इज माय पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस कि जब हमने गीता भवन में पहले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की और उनको बोला कि अब हम प्रेस सामने हैं, और उनने बताया कि कहाँ है रिफ्यूजी, हमने बोला हम ही है रिफ्यूजी। बिकॉज उनका कॉन्सेप्ट था कि जो बांग्लादेश से आ गए, सिर पर कपड़े होंगे और गंदे कपड़े पहनकर हम निकलेंगे रास्ते पे, खाना बनाए होंगे, शायद वही रिफ्यूजी होता है। हमने बोला नहीं, हम अच्छे घरों में रहते थे, हम पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, और ये जो आप देख रहे हैं हजारों लोग, यही रिफ्यूजी है। आप जो बांग्लादेश की तस्वीर है, कहीं और की तस्वीर है, उसको आप छोड़ दीजिए। एक नए तरीके का रिफ्यूजी आपके सामने है, जिसको कश्मीरी पंडित बोला जाता है। सो विद दिस नोट, कहने को तो बहुत है, लेकिन टाइम बहुत हो गया। आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। एंड आई होप माँ शारदा की कृपा होगी और ये जो फिल्म है ये बहुत, जिसको बॉलीवुड में बोलते हैं, सुपर डुपर सक्सेस होगी। और विवेक जी, मैंने, आप गुल थे तो मैंने आपको धन्यवाद नहीं किया और धन्यवाद करूंगा भी नहीं। वो इसलिए कि व्हाट यू हैव डन अ नेशनल ड्यूटी, यू हैव डन ड्यूटी जो को बहुत कम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं। और हमको बता, इवन पॉलिटिकल स्फीयर्स में भी 90s में हमको एक डेलीगेशन आई थी और हमको बोला गया कि, मुझे कान में बोला गया कि आप ज्यादा मत बोलो कि आपके साथ क्या हुआ, हिंदुस्तान में आग लग जाएगी। तो हमने कहीं हिंदुस्तान में आग नहीं लगानी है, लेकिन हमने अवेयर करना है व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन if we don't act now. And this, your film, will be path breaking for whole of nation and for whole of world to understand what is genocide and what is Islamic terrorism and what jihad has done to Kashmiris and what jihad is going to do if we don't act. थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप सबको बहुत बहुत आशीर्वाद। माँ शारदा का आपको आशीर्वाद है, माँ शारिका का आपको आशीर्वाद है, माँ रागिनिया का आपका आशीर्वाद, इसलिए आपकी जीत सुनिश्चित है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
थैंक यू उत्पल जी। धन्यवाद ना देते हुए आपने धन्यवाद भी दे दिया towards your concluding, but that is fine. I see your sentiments. So before we close, Vivek ji, anything you want to say before we say bye?
Surinder.
नहीं, बस थैंक यू एवरीवन, थैंक यू। आप सब बस जस्ट कीप ब्लेसिंग अस। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
हाँ, Neerja ji has a point. Yeah, go ahead.
I have this young man here, Arjun Kachru. He's been listening so patiently to all of us, and he must have heard everyone. Do you have a word to say, Arjun?
Okay, yeah, let's get in. Let's get him.
Please.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I don't know.
Can I say one thing, Surinder ji? Arjun ji was for last 2 months telling me, get me in touch with Vivek Agnihotri ji. Now this is the right time. Speak.
Wonderful.
Speak on Kashmir. Speak on Kashmir.
Well, only Utpal ji knows me. I'm a Kashmiri as well. Even though I'm only, I've never been to Kashmir. Actually, I've been brought up in Delhi, and I've never known what's happened in Kashmir beyond my parents' episodic stories. So it's very refreshing, and it's very it's very heartfelt and deep what you guys have said and what you guys have shared, and it's beyond my comprehension what a lot of people here have gone through, and a lot of people who have experienced during the Exodus. And frankly speaking, it's been eye-opening. It's been an incredible opportunity for me to learn and understand about my own culture from other people who have not known. So yes, I'm very grateful and very thankful to Utpal ji for inviting me. And it's been a pleasure. I'm an actor and I'm a film fan, so this is a great way for me to interact with our culture through the film.
Thank you, Arjunji. God bless you. Give you all the success and make us all proud. And you will. Okay. On this note, let us conclude. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Okay. And take rest. Namaskar.